Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne Sharp World, where today we're going to be taking a look at the Quiet Carry Drift with thumb studs. And not just one drift, but two drifts. And we're going to be comparing these two versions right here. We have the frame lock version, which is all titanium handle. And we have a liner lock version that is all G10, as you can see. Now, before I go any further in this review, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in. If you like what you see, please do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button, follow along, and I will continue to bring you guys the content. Now, let's take a look at some overall specs on these knives right here. We have an overall length of 6.94 inches, a blade length coming in at 2.9 inches, with a cutting edge coming in at 2.7-ish inches. We have a blade width of 1.13 inches with a blade thickness of 0.086 inches. That blade material is Vanex super clean steel with a drop point blade style, a flat grind, a handle length coming in at 3.94 inches with a handle thickness coming in at 0.37 inches. And we have a handle width of 0.96 inches. And the handle material, as I said earlier, all titanium, G10, two different options, obviously two different prices, which we'll get to here in just a second. Locking mechanism of frame lock and liner lock. And of course, they are both... No. Okay, so the all titanium version is right hand only, tip up carry. And then the G10 version is left hand or right hand, tip up carry. The weight is 2.6 ounces for the all titanium version and 3 ounces for the G10 version. So in all honesty, they're not going to feel, you could easily just say 2.8 ounces for both of them because you are not going to notice a 0.4 ounce difference. Just not going to happen. Prices, we have $300 for the all titanium version and $250 for the G10 version. Now, some people may be thinking that's kind of crazy for a knife with G10 and liner lock. Well, slow your roll, because we will get to that. It's not as crazy as you think when you take into consideration exactly what all this knife has, and we'll cover that here in just a second. Now, first, let's take a look, though, at some size comparisons. Obviously, putting those two next to each other isn't going to do us much good at all because they are the exact same thing. Now, let's take a couple other knives and stick them by them. We have the Wee Banter, and we have the Civivi Elementum. So as you can see, when it comes to length, that the Civivi Elementum is just about exactly the same. The Wee Banter is a little shorter. It usually is. You're not going to find a whole lot of knives that are smaller than the Wee Banter, at least for a primary carry, in my opinion. The Wee Banter is definitely on the smaller side, but still a very good size EDC. The Drift is obviously a little bigger and, in my opinion, definitely a little better. But as you can see, for length, yes, the Elementum is pretty much on point. These is pretty much the exact same length as the Elementum. And two more knives to stick up here and compare them to. We have your Benchmade Bug Out, which is always a good size reference for everyone. And I had to put this in here. The Quiet Carry Waypoint, which is a really, really, really excellent knife. And I will bring the Waypoint back for a little more of this video towards the end. I've had a lot of people ask me, what do I prefer, the Drift or the Waypoint? I'll answer that at the end of this review. But as you can see, there's your size comparison. So I think we have a pretty good idea now of just how big this knife is. And now let's talk about them. Let's start with the blade, of course, as always, because that's how we do it here at Wayne Sharp World. Very nice EDC blade. There's really nothing you can really pick it apart on unless you just really like a bigger blade. This blade shape to me is ideal for EDC use. You have a full flat grind for the front quarter of the tip, and then for the rest of the blade you have a very high flat grind, not quite full, but high enough to make this a very slicey knife. This that high flat grind comes down to an edge of 15 thousandths, which is extremely slicey. And of course you have that Vanex super steel. And let me tell you right now, the Vanex super clean steel really does. So this is the factory edge on it, which looks good. It looks the same as any other factory edge knife. And then on this one right here, my buddy D-Lo, he put an edge on this, which is quite the mirror. Let's see. As you can, there you go. Let's see, can we get made in China? There you go. You see it? Made, or no. Oh, it's made in USA. My bad. This is a Spyderco made in the USA. I was looking more at the blade than I was the actual. Ooh, wow. I just about cut myself there. But yes, as you can see, very, very mirrorish blade. Takes a really nice polish is what I'm getting at. This blade takes a really nice polish, and it takes a screaming sharp edge. Polishes up, sharpens up, very, very nice. And then it holds that edge for a really long time. I don't do edge testing on this channel. I would recommend checking out Cedric and Ada for edge testing. And then also, of course, Knife Steel Nerds. He is fantastic. He has a book out. He has all sorts of stuff up. Look him up if you want to know more about Vanex, and actually, read information from someone who is truly experienced and know what they're talking about. I go off word of mouth from the community and from my personal experience. And as you guys saw, I have my waypoint. I do love the Vanex steel on my waypoint. It has held a ridiculously long edge for the use that I've put on it, and I have yet to really have to sharpen it. I've just strapped it, strapped it with some diamond compound, and it has held up fantastically well. So excellent steel, and then on top of the excellent steel, you have thumb studs that make this knife better, absolutely better than the thumb hole version. If you guys didn't know, there was another version of the drift that was really, I believe, one of the first big hit for quiet carry. Now I think there was one more. I think there was another one before that. But the drift with kind of like it was kind of like a half oval cutout up here for the thumb. It had that, and that was around last year, I believe. Beginning of last year was when it first came out. Tell me if I'm wrong. I think that was the time frame is correct, but it was very popular. I did handle that for some reason. I think I just had it for a very short time. Wasn't even really sent to me. I just was using it. A friend had it. So I wasn't able to do a review of it, but I wasn't really hot on it because the cutout just, I wasn't quite feeling that. These thumb studs I am feeling. The thumb studs on both of these, they are just fantastic thumb studs. They're perfect shape, perfect size, placed in just the right spot, and just really, really nice thumb studs that make this blade pretty easy to whip out. And they really do kind of just, to me, make this knife so much better than the original one that actually had the blade cut out. Going into handling ergos, both have, obviously these are both the same knives for the most part, guys. What it's really going to come down to is, do you really want that extra amount of grip? Because the titanium version, the level of grip you have on it, I don't want to say you feel like it'll come out of your hand, because there's some shaping, and I don't want to say contouring, because I always feel like kind of contouring is more like the roundness of it. But, the curvature of the handle, it sits in your hand really nice. I wouldn't worry about this knife sliding out of my hand. I just wouldn't. But I do feel extra grip from the G10. I like it's not too aggressive, it's not too much, but it's enough texture to really get an extra bite into this handle that you don't have with the titanium version. So there is some positives here with comparing the G10 to the titanium. Regardless, though, the ergos on both of them are very, very good. They're both big enough to get a full 4-finger grip. Even if you're not using the choil, you still can hold both of them in your hand very well. And then if you use that choil, it just chokes up even more. I will say the choil on this, especially this one here, which has this wicked sharp edge, I kind of feel that edge biting into my finger a little. I don't know if it's really cutting into my skin, but I'd rather not risk it. So I kind of just hold it back here. And then if I want to, I kind of just keep my finger in the front half and kind of pull back a little. Not super comfortable, but I feel a little safer doing it. Now this one with the factory edge, it doesn't feel quite that bad. I still feel it a little, but I know this edge is just not quite as sharp as that one. So I feel a little more comfortable, but regardless, just the typical grip here. I think for most people, this will be just fine. And then if you ever did have to do any real fine digging, you can still get up there. And as you can see, It's a fine line. You just have to be, you know, aware and, you know, pay attention to the tool you're using like you always should. So I don't think I'm saying anything really new there. I do love the wire clip on these. Quiet Carry does a fantastic job of making their knives quiet in so many ways, and the wire clip is another way they do it. It's very functional. It has plenty enough ramp to get over any hem, and there's no real hot spot. It's very smooth. It's very, very smooth to where it's almost slippery, but it doesn't affect your grip because it's just a clip. A clip should never affect your grip that much as far as how secure of a grip you have, and this one doesn't. It's there, you feel it, but to me, it's just no hot spot. So I really do like the clip on this. Now, as I said before, the G10, it does give that extra little amount of grip, but they do offer the titanium version in a milled version to where at least the show side scale is milled and the back side is, I believe, just like this. So I think if I was to go with the all-tie version, I would definitely be getting the milled version. The milled version, I believe, is an extra $5, so it's kind of a no-brainer. I wish they would, I don't know. I hope when they restock these in August, I really hope they get a lot of the milled show side scales in, because I think those are going to be extremely hot sellers. I think they would do the knife community a disservice if they got a lot of these plain titanium handles. I hope they get a lot more of the milled titanium. I think those are going to sell really well, and I think they'll probably sell out pretty quick when they get back in stock. Now, the construction on both of these guys, as far as the solidity of each of these, no issues whatsoever. They are both, to me, as solid as can be. Of course, with a frame lock, you're always going to have a little more of a solid lockup with a frame lock because it's as solid as your grip. When you squeeze down on this blade's locked in. It's not coming loose. With a liner lock, I guess there's always that chance, but I wouldn't worry about it at all with this. I think this is an excellent lockup. I think the actual point here of the grind angle on the tang or the bottom of the blade stock is at a perfect angle to where it goes in and you're not going to have that over travel. It won't, wear in over time. I think it's at just a really nice angle and pretty much a perfect lockup. And it also just, to me, and then we'll kind of transition into the action here, the detent on the G10 version is just a little snappier. I don't know if I even want to say better, because when I go to flick out the titanium version, well, I completely botched that. But no, it's really a little better. The detent is just a little snappier, and I don't know, that could just be of, it could be an anomaly, in all honesty. But I do think it probably has something to do with the liner lock and frame lock. I'm really torn on which one of these I prefer more. I do like I like the look of the all titanium version better, but the detent on the G10 version, it is a little better. It just is. I don't know really how else to describe it. It just feels a little snappier. But when I go to middle finger flick this one, it comes out just as well. So it may just be me, and that blade, it caught me a little. Thought it took a little skin off. That is a stupid sharp blade there. Vanex is incredible. It's just an incredible steel to sharpen and put a nice polished edge on. But no, action on both of them are great. They really are great. It's very similar to the waypoint, and these are both on washers too. We don't have bearings again. We're still riding on washers with these knives, so it's so impressive to have this kind of action with just washers. And then to top it all off, you have a knife that both of these knives are fully rust proof. And now I'm going to hit a little harder too on the handle here of the liners of the G10 version, because even though you have G10 and liners, these liners here are still LC200N. These are LC200N liners, which is pretty much what you have here. The liner lock, I believe on this one, let's see here. So I believe you don't have an LC200N liner lock. You have an insert. You have your lock bar insert and you have your over travel stop. I don't know if that's LC200N. It very well could be, but I know the liners on the G10 version are LC200N. So yes, $250 for a normal knife with a G10 and liner lock, that would be kind of crazy. but you don't have just your regular crappy stainless steel liners. You have LC200N liners. I mean, companies use this steel to make freaking blades out of. So you are really getting some value in this. I don't see any problem with the $250 price tag on a knife with LC200N liners. You have a really solid lockup. You have your nice, your perfect detent in there, in my opinion. And then you have your Vanex steel titanium clip. These are both titanium wire clips. So you have premium materials, and you can argue that, you know, this is all titanium, but what's more impressive, G10 and LC200N or titanium? So I tell you what, they're really a wash for me. So I have no problem with $250 on this price tag. There's no other company that I know of that offers LC200N liners other than Quiet Carry. So it's very unique. So I don't have an issue with that. And again, the action on both of these, fantastic. We'll run over it one more time. Thumb studs, middle finger. I mean, it's that easy. Thumb studs and middle finger. Flicks right out. Same with the liner lock version. Thumb studs and middle finger. They both flick out. So good. Very fidgety. Both just great knives in the action department. Now, my overall thoughts, you know, which one do I like better? I'm going to throw a curveball at you guys. What I would like to see, I think I would like to have this version, the G10 version, only I don't want G10. I'll take my liner lock, I'll take my LC200N liner lock, and give me some nice marbled carbon fiber or some lightning strike carbon fiber. That's what I would want. And you know what? For lightning strike carbon fiber or a good fat carbon, dark matter carbon fiber, I would pay $275, $300. I'd pay a little extra. I'd pay closer to this range for some premium handle material, keep the LC200N, and that would be perfect. I would love that. But regardless, though, the actual offerings you have to pick from here, you really can't go wrong with either one. $250 for this one with the LC200N liner lock and liner. That's, you know, to me, that's not asking too much. That's not bad. And you're getting a super premium steel, one of the best, if not the best steel you can get right now on the market. And then the other version, you're getting full titanium. So you're getting just a little more solid handle and a little lighter weight, I guess. If you're not going to notice a difference, in all honesty. I'm holding both of these in my hand right here, and I'm really struggling. Yeah, I can't say I feel a weight difference at all. So the weight is really no big deal to me. Regardless, they're either one of them is 3 ounces or less, which is super light. You're not going to feel it in your pocket, and you're getting premium materials with both. So whether you want to pay $300 or $250, I think either one is a pretty darn good choice. Both excellent knives. Quiet Carry is. I'm starting to really love Quiet Carry because they don't make an obnoxious amount of models. They take their time and put their time into the models they do have, which I believe is like 3 or 4, and they just do a damn good job on them. I wish other companies would do that. I really like what they're doing here. And now when it comes down to which model do I prefer, the Drift or the Waypoint, I gotta say, I think if I had to pick, I think I'd go with my Waypoint. Guys, I really like my Waypoint. Now, granted, I've had more time with this. I'm a little more attached to it. This has been my buddy through some really terrible rounds of golf and some really rough days on the lake. So it's been with me through a little more than the Drifts have. But I don't know. It's a unique design. You get a little more blade length on it. I really like the Waypoint. Now, that's not to take away from either one of these two. At some point in the near future, there's a very good chance I may pick up one of these because I do absolutely love these two. But I think I love my Waypoint a little more, and that's just me. That's completely personal preference because they both have fantastic action. They both have great materials, great blades. Everything about these are good. So this is just me saying, yeah, I think I do prefer my Waypoint just ever so slightly over the Drift. But when it comes down to the Drift, it is a knife you cannot go wrong with if you're okay with the price tag that is put on it. I think they're both fantastic knives. I think Quiet Carry is doing a damn good job in managing their brand and their products. Let me know what you guys think. What do you think about the drifts? Do you like the thumb studs or the thumb cutout more? What about the waypoint? Which one would you pick? I look forward to hearing your guys' thoughts on this. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And until the next one, I'm out.